Hey everybody, it's Paul Harris with Blackhawk Recruiters in sunny California. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I was hoping to come at you guys with the results of the CAF2 auction, but it's August 8th right now and they've been done since August 3rd and the FCC hasn't announced anything. So you guys, I'm going to try to come at you with something that's actually much more big picture, much more important, and much more kind of germane to what's going on in your world right now, I'm assuming. So this would be two things. Number one would be the State of the Union, so to speak, as it relates to this incredibly tight hiring market that we're in right now. And then number two, more importantly, what can you do about it? How can you continue to bring on rock stars when the labor market is so tough? So here we go. So I was going to start off with a bunch of statistics, right? I normally go to the JOLTS, right? This is the Job Opening and Labor Turnover Survey. I'm not going to give you any of the statistics, but I'm going to give you a visual, right? So anything that has to do with hiring in the past 10 years, it looks like this, right? That's the northeasterly direction with the exception of unemployment, which is obviously going down. So there's a bunch of statistics you can look, but I'm not going to bore with you. Let's talk about what we can do about this. Right, and you know what's going on with the job market. You've read all the quotes that I've read. You know, it's a job seeker's economy, the labor market's on a roll, and there's no slowdown in sight. And just in our kind of where we recruit, there's basically virtually no unemployment in the executive level ranks. So once again, what can you do about it? We know it's tight. So I'm going to come at you with three things. So number one is some thoughts on your hiring process. Number two is thoughts on your onboarding process. And then once you get somebody on board, how you can keep them. So I'll knock these out real quick. So number one, the hiring process. Guys, I could sum this whole thing up with just one statement, and that is treat people with the golden rule. Put yourself in their situation, right? They're a rock star. They get approached by a recruiter or someone else, makes them aware of an opportunity, and they start the process. Ask yourself what you would like to see happen as you're going through the process, and you'll be just fine. But let me give you a little more specific. So number one is keep in mind that the first interaction that they're going to have is with an internal recruiter or an external recruiter like what we do here. And obviously you've heard the expression, there's never a second chance to make a first impression, or whatever that is, right? It's so important. So that is that candidate's idea, their representation of what your company is going to be like is dealing with that recruiter. So obviously you're going to need to make sure that they're, the gamut, right? Professional, knowledgeable, respectful, friendly, credible. They are your representative. They need to make a good first impression. So that's number one. Number two is, you guys, please do this. You heard the expression, "A stitch in time saves nine." Spend time to educate the recruiter on two things mainly. Number one is, what is it that person is going to be doing? What are your expectations for them? What does success look like in the job? What are they going to be doing every day? So the recruiter can do a great job of communicating to the candidate, so you can both figure out if it's a good fit, because none of us want a bad fit, right? Get on board and have them say, "Well, you never told me that." That's not when you want to find that out. You want to find out beforehand. Then number two, making sure you educate them, and this is, guys, is so important, is the why. You need, as an employer, you need to help the recruiter figure out why Johnny Rockstar would want to leave the job where they're incredibly happy at and come on board with your job, with your company. And I'll flat out ask the CEO, "Hey, why did you leave? You're doing good. You're doing a great job at this XYZ company. You came over to this company. Why? Why did you come over, and why did you stay?" And then I shut up and listen. And basically, what they tell me, those are what I call the bullets for the gun. That's the real meat and potatoes as to why someone would want to leave where they're at and come to a company. So please spend the time. A stitch in time saves nine. Spend that time to educate your recruiter on those different bullets for the gun. Next one, you guys, please limit the number of interviews that you're going to put somebody through, and limit the number of the number of people that they have to meet with, right? I call this a recessionary mindset in a post-recessionary environment, right? This is not 2009 and 2010 where you could put a candidate through 20 interviews and they'd still, "Well, I'm unemployed, I got to keep going." It's not like that anymore. So please limit the number of people and interviews. This next one is huge, you guys. Speed, 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 right? There's an expression in the recruiting industry, you may have heard it. I kind of like it, but I don't. It's called time kills all deals. So I don't like it because, kills all deals. It sounds like we're selling refrigerators or something like that, right? In other words, this is people's lives that we're messing with, both the candidate and the client. So I wanted to keep it high level and respectful. So calling it a deal is, not exactly the way I want to perceive this, but I get the concept, right? If you take too long, the candidate is going to be gone. They don't wait around. I'll put it another way. Rock stars don't wait. They don't wait around. So speed. So what I'm talking about is speed from, for example, the time we submit that person to the time they interview, right? So put yourself in my position, the recruiter. Been talking to a guy for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, tell him all about this company, tell him all about the why, etc. And they're like, Paul, I'm happy. Okay, well, and then we get them over to the point, okay, Paul, go ahead. You can go ahead and submit. And we put together the presentation package. We work with the candidate on it. And then guess what? 3 days later, Paul, what'd they say? Well, Joe, they haven't, even responded to my email or my phone call or whatever. Well, boy, how do you think that makes them feel, right? You got to move faster. And then the time after they interview to the time that you give feedback, that can't be a long period of time. Otherwise, it shows no interest. It shows no sense of urgency. It shows maybe an indication of how you guys do business. So please be efficient, be respectful, the golden rule with that person's time. Speed, you guys. Make sure to speed things up. Next one, you guys, please, on this one, please, no lowball offers, right? This is not 2009. It starts the relationship on a bad foot. It can be offensive to the candidate. So you guys, please be respectful on the offer. Here's my advice that I give to people in this environment. Come at them with your first and best offer. None of this, hey, we start low, you go high, and we meet in the middle or something like that. I always just say, hey, here's the deal. Give them your best offer, and I'll explain to the candidate. Here's the deal. This is the way this company does business. They don't screw around. They don't play the high-low game, meet in the middle stuff. They're making you a fair offer. It's more than you're making right now. You're going to get all these other things that I told you about coming on board with this company. Make it fair, make it your best offer, and I'll explain to them, hey, they're not going to negotiate, by the way. This is their best offer, and people say, man, I like the way these guys shoot straight. I like the way they don't play games. I'm in, type of thing. So that was that. Next one, you guys, next subject is the onboarding process. So I'm going to clean up my language here. Have your act together, right? It's really, really not that complicated. Make sure when they come in, they've got a badge. Make sure that they've got their computer, and the IT folks have gone through the computer and made sure that their email is working, etc. Make sure that their desk is ready for them. Make sure that it shows that you've done some preparation. Also, when they come in, have a welcome sign. It can be a fancy welcome sign. It can be a little goofy thing like I made here, right? Just welcome Tom or welcome Sue or whatever. It makes them, oh my gosh, they're expecting me. They're excited that I'm here. Have someone meet and tour them around the office. Sound goofy and kind of Pollyannish, but you guys, it's, show them where the bathroom is. Show them where you get your coffee. Introduce them to some other people and where these different people sit in the organization and in the office. Kind of like you would with a guest in your home, right? It's just treating people, the right way. Okay, so that's the onboarding, nothing special there. You guys, then the next one is once you have someone on board, how do you keep them, right? There's a whole bunch of different ways. One thing that has caught my eye lately is, there was a survey, and it was basically, what would you, besides health care benefits, what do you value the most? And I can sum up all the answers in one word: flexibility, right? They wanted, actually number one on the survey I read was a casual dress code. It doesn't cost you anything, right? If it's appropriate. Casual dress code, of course, telecommuting. Let me telecommute a couple days a week. Work from home, it's flexible days off, daycare, stuff like that. So, and these are kind of different from maybe when I was growing up, where we showed up and, dear sir, what can I do? Just let me run through a brick wall. We didn't ask for much, right? Back then, there's, Gen Xers, there's millennials, etc., and they value things differently than people my age. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to end where I started off with: keeping people on board and keeping them happy. Go back to the golden rule, right? Say please, say thank you, treat them the way you'd want to be treated, and they'll stay with your company. So you guys, that's it. Hope that was helpful. Next for me will be one of my big trade shows, and that's Mobile World Congress that's happening, Mobile World Congress Americas, which is happening in Southern California next month in September. So guys, that's it. Once again, Paul Harris from Global Recruiters of Blackhawk. If you have any questions for me, you can find me on LinkedIn or on the internet or whatever. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. Bye-bye.